I've told you this once before on the program. I don't think I've ever been more proud to be a Quebecer than the day I received a letter in the mail, and I open up the letter, and it's a check with the Quebec flag on it for $8,000. And they're like, here's your $8,000 for buying an electric vehicle. And I looked at that check of $8,000 with the Quebec flag on it, and I felt so proud. Well, that check now is going to get a little smaller. Last week during the provincial budget, the subsidies for purchasing electric vehicles were cut. Our next guest is here to give us his thoughts on the matter, and I think he's someone in the know. Simon-Pierre Roux is the president of the Quebec Electric Vehicle Association. Simon-Pierre, welcome back to the show.
Hey, good morning, Elias.
So if we look at the budget here, a new electric car rebate went from $8,000 to $7,000. The used electric car rebate went from $4,000 to $3,500. They also cut the plug-in hybrid rebate from $8,000 to $5,000, so a substantial decline there, although I'm not keen at all on the plug-in hybrids, to be honest. I think you should go fully electric. But Simon-Pierre, what's your take from your association on the government cutting it by $1,000?
Well, that was written in the sky, and we kind of sent out the order to have that written in the sky also. As we know, the electric cars are getting more and more popular in the province. We also know that the price of electric cars is supposed to go down and get down to parity with gas cars by 2026. So by every year, we should be expecting a decrease in that incentive because the price of the electric cars are going down. Now, that was like the whole theory behind it, and we're like fully behind it. And we also mentioned that it wasn't worth putting $8,000 on a plug-in hybrid that gave you 60 kilometers of range. We want people to go fully electric, just like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they brought those incentives way down. Like you said, $5,000 for a plug-in that has a 15 kilowatt hour and more battery. And the ones that have smaller batteries get $2,500. So really not an incentive. It's like, if you want to get an electric car, get a fully electric one. Now, what happened is we've seen in the last year with COVID, with difficulty in getting parts, getting minerals, everything's gone up in price, unfortunately, because of even like the recent war in Ukraine. So that has a lot of impact on the prices, and the prices have actually gone up for electric cars. So now we're stuck where we're expecting prices to go down. So, of course, bring the incentive down, but we're not at that level yet, and it's just a little bit too quick, unfortunately, but we'll deal with it. You know, we're getting $500 checks from the government this year for every person, so that might help counterbalance that extra loss of $1,000. But, you know, overall, it's not a big deal.
And Simon-Pierre, you know, you mentioned the cost right now of electric cars is going up, but it is not lost on me. It's the price of all cars that are going up, right? So, you know, it'd be one thing if it was only the electric cars going up in price, but the average selling price of any car in Canada now, average selling price, all cars, $50,000. It's over $50,000 now. So prices are going through the roof. Now, Simon-Pierre, it's March 28th, okay? This change is effective April 1st.
Yeah.
Do you know if it's about when you place the order or is it when you take delivery? Can you get in? Can you get in on the fun over the next 3 days?
I can give you the detail on this. If you can order your car now, do it. And if you can get delivery before June 30th, you'll get the full $8,000. But, you know, overall, most of the cars are already sold for the year. So we're kind of like stuck. So some people have ordered their car like 6 months, 8 months ago. And that's why they kind of changed the law, the ruling, because these people were saying, hey, I ordered my car way before you thought about changing the incentive price. So can we get a break? And they kind of changed that in the last few days just to avoid getting frustrated consumers calling, hassling them.
Okay, so this is Simon-Pierre. I'm so happy you've got this info for us. I want to repeat it for our listeners here. So as long you need to order before April 1st and take delivery June 30th or before that, and you will get the full $8,000.
Exactly.
Okay, so there you go.
Another thing that's important, overall they're changing all these prices, but at the association we had this idea that we need to look at all categories of cars. Right now, it's any car below $60,000 that are that do get the incentive of $7,000. But any pickup trucks that are electric, that are coming on the market, larger SUVs, they get nothing because they do sell above 60. So our main takeaway here was we're supposed to get that price down, the incentive down, but the cost saving that they would have would be put on a new category for those heavier cars instead of light-duty cars that are getting the full incentive. And they haven't announced it yet. It's supposed to be in the next few weeks. So we'll see what happens, but we're really looking forward to that. We're even putting pressure on the federal government to do that, to have heavier cars and trucks to be to get access to that $5,000 from the federal government also.
Yeah, that's right. So this is a very good point, Simon-Pierre, because we're talking about these rebates, whether it's the provincial one of $8,000 going to $7,000 or the federal one, which is $5,000. There's so many cars now and trucks and SUVs that are electric. They're just priced out of it, right? There are hard limits. Do you think that number, like it depends on the province or the federal rebate, do you think that number needs to go higher?
No, because some people will buy just a small car, but with all the fixings and all the trimming and all the levels of luxury, and they should limit the smaller light-duty cars to a certain maximum of price.
Gotcha.
But for another category, for bigger trucks or anything that people will need at one point or they like to buy in Canada, they do need to have a second category of incentive. It might still be another $7,000 for heavier duty cars, or it can be like a lower amount, but they need to have some incentive going on because really a lot of people have been waiting to buy an electric car or SUV or a pickup, and if there's no incentive for it, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the consumers.
We're with Simon-Pierre Roux. He's president of the Quebec Electric Vehicle Association. Simon-Pierre, let me play devil's advocate. And it's going to be very easy for me to be devil's advocate here because I already got my $8,000 check. Mm-hmm. But, I'm looking at some of the waiting lists. There are certain vehicles that are sold out until 2023. I have other listeners saying it's a 2-year waiting list.
Yeah.
Let me throw this question out at you. Given the waiting lists, given the fact that people have to wait now 6 months, a year, 2 years to even get their electric car, doesn't that prove the point we should remove all the subsidies because they're not necessary?
Oh, that's a good one. Listen, people are still putting their name on the waiting list, and they are expecting that electric car to come along, but they're also expecting that incentive. And even if there is a demand, that demand will drop completely. We've seen it in Ontario, where as soon as they drop the incentive, even if the federal government incentive came along with $5,000, it didn't help the sales. When BC dropped their incentive a few years ago, sales dropped to nothing. And then they went even further, upped it, and increased any pollution cars money that they have to pay. So any polluting cars have to pay a little bit extra in BC. We have that also in Quebec, but it's like $300. So it's really nothing compared to like a huge truck that burns fuel and emits a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. Mm-hmm. So yeah, overall, if you cut the incentive, there will be no more demand, and people will actually remove their names from the waiting list. So no, you can't do it.
Simon-Pierre Roux is president of the Quebec Electric Vehicle Association. Simon-Pierre, I'll leave you with some good news. There's a press conference at 2 p.m. From Valérie Plante and the mobility team there, and apparently they're going to announce tons and tons of new public chargers in the cities. So
Absolutely.
that is good news for the urban EV buyer.
Anybody that lives in a rental dwelling and that they can't have a charging station at home, well, at least they'll have good news. Maybe there will be some more charging stations in their neighborhood.
Indeed. Simon-Pierre, thanks so much for coming on the show.